Hello, fellow historians. Welcome back to another episode of Documenting History. If you just landed on this video and this channel, the purpose of this channel is to document history for future generations by uploading a snippet of this day's news, the local news. A lot of people will say, well, the news will be documented on the internet, and that much is true. However, you lose the local flavor on the internet, and you also lose the, what's the good word? The memory, I guess, for lack of a better word, of hearing the actual broadcast in the local area, especially if you're from the New York Metropolitan area. And the reason we're featuring WCBS 880 is because it's changing. It's closing down, and ESPN Sports Talk is going to take over. So WCBS 880 will be no more in about a week or so. And that's the reason we're featuring WCBS 880 for the next couple of days. All right, let's get you into the news for this soon-to-be extinct radio station.
The annual Barrel Strip Moments. Your can't miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a...
So we're currently on a commercial, and sometimes the commercials themselves can be vintage. And we're driving in Paterson, New Jersey, and we're on our way to the ShopRite in Elmwood Park before I go to work.
Where should we go next? Sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Tiffany, founder of Harlem Pilates. When I couldn't find Pilates in my neighborhood, I started a studio from my studio apartment. Pace Inc. helped me grow from one Pilates studio to 3. Because when you start small, you're going to need some big help.
This is the soon-to-be extinct WCBS 880 in the New York Metropolitan area.
Make more with yours. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Cards issued by J.P. Morgan Chase Bank and a member of FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
I'm Michael Wallace. I want to thank you, the WCBS listener. We've had so many of you reaching out on social media or email saying how upset you are that we'll be leaving the air. To see the messages from so many of you has really been heartwarming. It's been an honor and a privilege to have you invite us into your homes, your cars, wherever your ears were. It's a responsibility we never took lightly, and I hope we made you laugh once in a while along the way, too. Thank you.
I think they forgot the words, Paul.
I know, right? This is the acoustic version or something.
5:38 on some time zone, but here at 6:38. Good morning, Chicago.
Yeah, good morning, Steve Carmen, for his wonderful work on those news hit sound. The man who gave us I Love New York put that together for WCBS.
Tom Kaminsky, Chopper 880.
All right, let's start first off. Bronx-bound Bronx Neck Bridge. We have some police activity there. We have at least one lane closed, so we're very heavy at this point. Back onto the Clearview, onto the Cross Island. Go for the Whitestone Bridge instead. That would be better. We still have delays on the LIE eastbound at Little Neck Parkway. Vehicle fire extinguished. Vehicle still yet to be cleared. Westbound side of the LIE in Suffolk County, right around Deer Park Avenue. Had some police activity there. That is off to the shoulder. And then the LIE in Queens still delays on the service road at Casino Boulevard. A collision and a police investigation there. Inbound GWB, well over 30 minutes. Had a crash on the lower level briefly. That was cleared out of the way. Holland still at 20 to 30 from 19. We had a stall on the Pulaski Skyway at the downstroke at Tunnelly Avenue. That is still being worked on. Inbound Lincoln, a 20-minute wait there. I'm Tom Kaminsky in Chopper 880.
Craig Allen's forecast: a cloudy morning will give way to a little bit of sunshine today, cooler and less humid. There's still a chance of a lingering shower east of the city this morning, but we're generally coming out of all of this now. The high close to 75.
Some of the distant suburbs, Craig says, could dip into the upper 40s tonight. Partly cloudy, clear, and cool for most of us, low 55 to 60.
Tomorrow's going to be a nice day. It's going to be sunny with some clouds mixing in. It could be a passing afternoon sprinkle, and it will be unseasonably cool. Tomorrow's high 70.
63 degrees at last check in Central Park at 6:40 at WCBS.
Taylor Swift, wrapping up the European leg of her Eras tour, is reaching out to some young fans in London.
Phone footage from Sunday's concert, shot by the mother of one of the little girls injured in last month's stabbing attack at a Taylor Swift-themed dance class in the city of Southport. 3 children died, 10 other people were wounded. Photos posted by the mother shows Swift posing backstage with 2 young girls, one of whom seems to have a bandaged arm. The mother's message: "You drew stars around my scars." Vicky Barker, CBS News, London.
The Islamic Center of Rockland is condemning an anti-Semitic screed from a visiting imam. Video of the sermon earlier this month has stirred outrage. The prayer for Allah is made: "Guide the shooting of Hamas, destroy the Zionist Jews, and seize them in a crushing grip," says that visiting imam in that video. "We unequivocally condemn these statements," said the Islamic Center of Rockland in its statement just out, saying, "We stand firmly against anti-Semitism and any rhetoric that incites violence or hatred." The statement concludes that dialogue and understanding can, quote, "pave the way toward a better future for all." But local electeds, including Congressman Mike Lawler, have lined up to condemn the dialogue that came out of that August 9th event.
3 separate U.S. intelligence agencies confirmed yesterday that Iran was responsible for a hack that recently targeted the Trump campaign.
The Director of National Intelligence, the FBI, and the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency confirmed the claim by Trump campaign officials earlier this month that they were being targeted. In a statement, the agency said they're confident that Iran had used social engineering and other methods to target individuals in the Trump and Harris campaigns.
That's CBS News reporter Christopher Cruz.
Ukraine now controls a piece of Russian territory that's said to be larger than all of Los Angeles. Ukrainian special forces form this tip of the spear. Speed and aggression, their allies. Heavy armor brings up the rear. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky boasted that his forces have captured nearly 500 square miles, creating a buffer zone to prevent military attack. Ukraine is also destroying vital Russian bridges, at least 3 so far, making it harder for the Kremlin to send reinforcements. As CBS News correspondent Ian Lee on that story.
This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Is that your new Nissan Rogue? Yeah. Crazy story. I'm at the Nissan end of summer sales event when Laura, the saleswoman, asks, "Want to test drive the Rogue?" I'm like, "Let's go." We're driving when Laura says,
Want to see something cool? VC turbo engine.
"I hit the gas and whoosh." I'm like, "Okay, wasn't expecting that." Laura goes,
Check this out.
she shows me the miles per gallon, and I'm like, "Wow, that's pretty impressive fuel economy."
These new Nissan Rogues are going fast.
I knew I had to have that Nissan Rogue. Crazy, right?
Wait till you hear how I got my Nissan Sentra. Get a low $269 per month lease for 36 months on Rogue. Shop the Nissan sales event. Visit your local Nissan store and nissanusa.com today. 2024 EPA fuel economy estimates from 28 city, 34 highway to 30 city, 37 highway for 2024 Nissan Rogue. Actual mileage may vary. Well-qualified lessees. 2024 Rogue Gas all-wheel drive. $47.49 initial payment. Excludes tax, title, license, and $695 acquisition fee. Disposition fee due at lease end. Take from new dealer stock. Call 1-888-858-8319 for offer details. Ends 9/3/24.
Do you know what brand sells the most work shoes in America? Skechers. Why? Skechers has the best looking safety toe and slip resistant shoes around. They've got superior quality and simply incredible prices. But many people get them just for the style. So you can enjoy tough, steel toe protection and slip resistant soles anywhere, even if you don't need them for work. And since they're Skechers, you know they're going to be comfortable with Skechers exclusive air-cooled memory foam. Find your new pair of Skechers safety toe and slip resistant work shoes at a Skechers store, at Skechers.com, or wherever work shoes are sold.
As a roofer, I don't have time to fail. Homeowners rely on me, so I rely on Beacon. Beacon's unique network of branches work together to get me what I need when I need it. And with the Beacon Pro Plus app, I've got the brands I depend on, like GAF, right at my fingertips. Now through September 15th, purchase high-quality GAF with Beacon Pro Plus and earn up to $1,500. Go to BECN.com or download the Beacon Pro Plus app today. Beacon, always building.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com.
We're currently on Broadway in Paterson, New Jersey, getting ready to go past Eastside Park.
63 degrees this morning, 75 the high today, but some of the distant burbs dipping into the 40s tonight. Good morning, I'm Paul Bernane.
Good morning, I'm Wayne Cabot, and this just reminds us of the sound of WCBS, and really it's all about sound. That's what we hear coming out of the radio. That's what has really motivated us to connect with the radio station, the voices, the people we have come to know, and this was part of that sound for so many years.
We had a ticker too, and it's important to say that a lot of the archival material WCBS we no longer have access to. A lot of it was, I guess the word is thrown out. It sounds hard to say that, but it was one of those corporate decisions that was made. But Wayne, you're like the keeper of the flame over there. You have a lot of the archive material, and people actually have been sending you stuff, including some mind-blowing material, I have to say, that has just come into our being in the last, 24 hours.
There's a man who runs an archive. I want to get you his name and the information about this archive for anybody who's interested in looking at it. Or listening to it. This is audio from television shows that weren't recorded because they didn't have videotape. We're talking about the 50s. The sound from that. Plus radio archive audio, including a lot of stuff from WCBS.
Yeah.
It was Lou Adler going toe-to-toe with Malcolm X.
Unbelievable.
We have Ed Koch and Jacob Javits commenting on when LBJ dropped out of the race for president. Certainly something that we can relate to today.
And were you telling me 1968 Lou Adler newscast? WCBS, in like the earliest months of the all-news format here, 57 years ago. We're putting this all together as part of our 3-hour show that'll be on the air at 10 o'clock on Thursday morning. And yes, we are working on a way to so you'll be able to stream it and listen to it another time, because a lot of people will be at work on Thursday morning. So we're working on a podcast version of it.
Fast forward now to 2024, and last night on stage in Chicago, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez trying to rally the young, energetic left in the Democratic Party for Kamala Harris. AOC was on fire in her endorsement of Harris and took aim at Donald Trump.
And I, for one, am tired of hearing about how a two-bit union buster thinks of himself as more of a patriot than the woman who fights every single day, who lifts working people out from under the boots of greed, threatening on our way of life.
Ocasio-Cortez, speaking directly toward Trump, said the truth is, Don, you cannot love this country if you only fight for the wealthy and big business.
The man once known as one of the Central Park Five will be on stage this week at the DNC. New York City Councilman now, Yusuf Salaam, is expected to address the delegates on Thursday. 3 people familiar with the convention planning telling the New York Times it's felt that Salaam is an ideal choice to make the case against Donald Trump, who memorably took out full-page ads calling for the death penalty to be reinstated over a case in which the defendants went to prison but were later exonerated. In the 1989 rape of a jogger in Central Park, Salaam spent 7 years in prison. He had worked with the Biden campaign in an effort to rally black male voters to the Democratic cause.
WCBS News Time, 6:48 on a still cloudy for the most part for Tuesday morning, but we're getting better all the time. Here's Tom Kaminsky at Chopper 880.
Now we're starting to see some breaks of sun, especially as you get past that stretch as you're on Route 280 and you're heading on out toward that stretch of Pleasant Valley Way, and then west of that, and you get along Route 80 west of Route 280 and west of 287, some sunshine there. So starting to see some improvement all the way around. Now we've had a couple of issues in Queens trying to get to the Bronx. The first one being the Throgs Neck Bridge. We've got police activity now Bronx bound, and a couple of lanes are out of service at that spot. Unfortunately, now the Whitestone Expressway's got an issue just prior to the Whitestone Bridge, right at 14th Avenue. We have a collision in one lane is closed at that spot. We have the usual volume if you're starting to think about using the RFK Bridge. That's slow on the westbound side of the Grand Central from City Field on over to LaGuardia. More delays getting over to the Span. Queensbound at the RFK Bridge. We now have a crash on the Queens side, and at least one lane is closed. Southbound BQE coming away from the RFK Bridge, heavy from at least Roosevelt Avenue down to the LIE. Watch for a crash there. And still right at the Queens-Nassau border on the LIE eastbound at Little Neck Parkway. Vehicle fire extinguished. Vehicle still yet to be cleared out of the way. Holland about a half hour from 19. We had a stall at the end of the Pulaski Skyway right at the Tunnelly Circle. The right lane was closed there. Lincoln at about 20, and the GWB about 30 minutes. Bit of a crash on the lower level. That has now been cleared. I'm Tom Kaminsky in Chopper 880.
To the weather center now, Craig Allen. Like we've been saying, a little bit of a fallish touch to things coming our way.
It's true. You know, you could feel it as soon as you step outside. The wind is now northwest. It's drying it out. The temperature is down to 63. Yeah, there's a sprinkle or two left over the very far east end of the island and eastern sections of Connecticut. Otherwise, clouds will give way to some sun. It'll be about 75 for today. Tonight, down to 55 to 60, upper 40s in the coolest of the suburbs. And then tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds and just about 70. That's it. Thursday and Friday, though, is up to 75 to 80, and it continues to recover and warm up, starting with Saturday's high of 80 to 85. Should be a nice warm Sunday. And in the city now, we have 63, humidity 65%, northwest wind 10 to 18 miles per hour.
All the Mets fans in the newsroom have been talking about this. 6:50 sports time, Jerry Recco.
Well, last night at Citi Field, the Mets got a much-needed win over the Orioles and came in dramatic fashion.
3-0. One on hit deep to left center. It's right to it. Back near the wall. It is gone. Put it above. Francisco Alvarez with a towering game-winning home run.
4-3 the final scores. The Mets moved 5 games over 500. Of course, the call heard right here on WCBS 880. Francisco Alvarez, the hero. J.D. Martinez homering in the first. And David Peterson went 7, did allow a game-tying home run in that 7th, but a pretty good start overall. Edwin Diaz through the 9th and earned the win. Mets now a game and a half behind Atlanta for the 3rd wild card. The Braves found out that third baseman Austin Riley has a broken hand. He will be out the rest of the regular season. The Braves take on the Phillies tonight. The Yankees face the Guardians. Luis Gil to start. New York now leading Baltimore by a half game for first place in the AL East. And the Washington Commanders named rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels their starter. Jerry Recco, WCBS 880 Sports.
Hey everyone, Boomer here. You may know me from my football days, but today I'm here to talk to you about something that can...
All right, guys, I've arrived to ShopRite on this August 20, 2024. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Documenting History. Once again, I appreciate the support. I appreciate the historians that have subscribed to the channel. We'll see you on the next episode.